In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you the exact three-step blueprint I use with my clients to help them build a business plan in 2025. So let's dive in. First, I'm going to grab a coffee and then we'll take a walk. All right, cheers. So step one of the three-step blueprint is refining your offer, because if you don't have a great offer, it doesn't matter how much attention you get, how many ads you run, how much content you post, etc. It's not going to do anything. So before we dive into what is an offer, I'm going to talk about what it's not. It doesn't just mean discount, because I know a lot of marketers out there like, you got to discount your services, you got to slash your prices. That's not at all what we tell our clients. In fact, we usually want them to raise their prices, because in pricing psychology is something I'm very passionate about. But if you think about it, nobody expects you to be the best if you're the cheapest. And if you're the cheapest, nobody expects you to be the best. One of my favorite all-time quotes when it comes to pricing. But I find that sometimes if you simply are struggling to get bookings and you raise your prices, it's going to make people think you're better. Even if your reviews stay the same, even if everything stays the same, a lot of people assume that a higher price means better quality. And so first, raise your prices. Two, when it comes to an offer, here's where it gets a little complicated. You want people to feel like they're getting a discount, but you're actually charging higher prices. So I'll give you an example from one of the beauty clients I've worked with. So they ran a med spa. For a while, her facials were, I think, $199. Well, I said, okay, what are you including in your facials? Let's value stack this. Let's break down the value of each thing you're including. Basically, they came out to, okay, I include a consultation, I include this, I include free Wi-Fi, bottled water. And I was like, well, do they get aftercare? Yeah, I send them aftercare instructions, I give them support. I'm like, okay, are you telling all these people this in your offer? Are you explaining that clearly? They're like, no, I kind of just assumed they would know that. I'm like, okay, you're assuming that people, one, know what you do, and two, you're not putting a value to that. And so if you told me like, Jake, I'm going to do all this stuff, and you list it out and then you put a value to each one. So let's say consultation, $50. And even if you don't charge for a consultation, this would be the value of their time. And so $50 value for consultation, and then the actual service. And then you got all these amenities, and this is worth $30, and the aftercare is worth $80. And before you know it, you're talking about a $500 value, I think is what we came to. And I was like, okay, would you rather get a facial that somebody just said, yeah, it's $199 for a facial? Or if you gave me that stack of what's included and said, this is a value of $500 where you're getting it for only $299, I'd be like, wow, that's a great deal. That's a great offer. That's a discount. I feel like I'm getting a discount. And yet what happened? We actually raised the price by $100. That's what I would challenge you guys to do, is to break down what's all included in your service or product, what goes into it, write it all out, and then put some kind of value next to it based on the cost of your time, the cost of your expertise. A lot of you don't give yourself credit for your expertise. How long did it take you to learn it? You have to start valuing your time to get customers to value you. What I define as a good offer is the value proposition. How much people feel like they're getting value out of it is about 10 times better than what it costs. I would say 5 to 10, depending on the product or service. So for example, in the facials, even though it costs $299, the value people got out of it was double, around $500 or $600. And so that felt like a good offer. Now, we could have probably made it a little bit better. And if she was really struggling for bookings, we could have kept her price at $199 and got even more clients. But that was just one of many examples. All right, now that you have a good offer, let's move on to step two, which is getting attention to that offer. Obviously, there's many ways to do this in marketing. Right now in 2025, we're finding a couple different ways that work the best. Number one is paid advertising. Facebook, Instagram, and Google is typically what we find the best. With Google, you can get high intent, views. You can get people searching for your service, doing the research, pretty close to a buyer, if not already a buyer, like, ready to buy. The only issue we run into is when people want to do Google only. Like, you can get some customers or a good amount of customers on Google, but a lot of times, when people are doing the research, they go to your website, they're checking out your stuff, they don't always buy immediately. And so, in fact, I would say at least 50% of people don't buy immediately. And so how are you going to reach those other 50%? Are you just going to let them go? We found that if we do retargeting ads, so Facebook and Instagram, think about it. If you've ever gone and looked at a pair of shoes and then all of a sudden you start seeing those shoes everywhere online, same concept. And so that's a great strategy, is Google to Facebook and Instagram. So one of my favorite ways right now to get attention is Facebook groups. You can find groups where you can post for free, but I found that those are actually a little bit tougher to get attention in because everybody's posting on there. And so one of my favorite strategies is actually finding a group that has, let's say 50,000 of your ideal customers in it, and then going to the group admins and simply asking them like, hey, how much would it cost me for, to be a sponsor in this group? That way I can, post in here, and, you'd pay a monthly subscription, but oftentimes I found it's a super undervalued way of getting attention. Whereas like, let's say you pay $2,000 a month for Facebook ads, the same equivalent paying for Facebook groups could get you in front of, 200,000 people. So it's a really good way to utilize Facebook groups. Now, once I'm in the groups, I find that the best posts are simply, asking people a question about their pain points. So let's say, for me, I work with business owners. And so I'll go in a group and say like, hey, would anyone want my free guide on Google Business? By the way, if you do want that guide, I'll put the link in the comments. But I'll ask, if you want the free Google guide, comment below. And I'll get like 200 comments. And then what I'll do is I'll just reach out to those people and talk to them. All right, now step 3 is actually, you've got your offer, you're getting attention to it, but you need to make sure your sales process is good, because if you have leads coming in, but you don't have a way to convert them at a high rate, you're wasting money. So for example, if a lead comes in, are you calling them right away? Are you responding within a minute? These are all things that really help take that lead and turn them into a booking. Because if you think about it, especially with paid ads, people click on things all the time. And so if you take 2 hours to get back to someone after they clicked on your ad, they might not remember what they clicked on. And then when that happens to my customers, they're like, well, it must be a bad lead. No, you just took 2 hours to reply to them. So get back to your leads quickly. So a lot of my clients are solo business owners, which means they have to utilize tools like a CRM or AI to respond to their leads. And so they might be busy doing a service. They can't get to their phone right away. And so I highly recommend having some kind of AI chatbot. So if you've ever played with ChatGPT, which most of you probably have, you know that it can be conversational, like it can talk back and forth with you. Well, now you can get a bot that sounds exactly like you, knows everything about your business. And so when a lead comes in, it'll literally ask them qualifying questions. It can get their phone number, their email if you don't already have it, and it can literally book people on the spot for your product or service. And so it saves a ton of time. It's super nice being able to just look at your phone like, oh, I have 3 booked appointments. Now, if you are interested in having us build a bot for you, because to be honest, it's not that easy to set up, but we have a team that does it for us. If you are interested in that, feel free to contact us. We'll put our link below to apply to work with this. But another way to really improve your sales process, if you don't have an AI bot yet, is knowing what to say that's going to convert people. Having a script. Now, I don't believe in following scripts word for word necessarily, but having a general idea of what's going to make people focus on the value and not the cost. So just like in the offer, if you guys are seeing a recurring theme, just like the offer, once we want people to focus on the value, same thing when you're talking to people. And so if someone's just like, how much is your service? You don't want to just be like, oh, it's $500. Like, you need to redirect a little bit. I'm not saying avoid the question, but redirect, because, sometimes you might have multiple offerings, you might have multiple variations of your service, or I can guarantee you, if you just give them the price and let them focus on the price, they're much less likely to buy from you. And so you're going to want to redirect them and say like, thanks so much for inquiring. What made you look into this? Just get some information for them. Make sure they're a good candidate. Give them some information first, and then either get on a phone call with them, or that's when you can, reveal the pricing once you've got the right info. All right. If you want our exact scripts and everything else that I mentioned on here, we actually have a free community you can join. Click the link in the description. We'll see you there.